Hello guys, Dimos here from Bowling XP. I hope everyone is well. Following a discussion I had with J.R. Raymond about how oil affects ball surface, and since we saw that the subject a little bit differently, I offered to do some tests with the laser scanner. So here we are. Now, after these tests are complete, after all of them are complete, you will know if, and these are the key points that we kind of disagree on with JR. A, if the act of wiping the ball oil off your ball changes your ball surface. B, if letting the oil from a shot get absorbed into the ball affects the surface right then and there on the spot for your next shot. And C, if the difference of surface that the ball has from shot to shot is caused by the oil or the ball getting signed by the machines in the lane, or both. For example, on this subject, Ron Hickland from CTD says it's the machines. JR says it's a bit of everything, but also that the oil part is such that it is visible by watching the ball reaction, as he tried to show in that video. So we'll see. What we do agree on with JR is that there are circumstances that we need the ball to skid better on the heads, to retain energy, and walk better down lane. So this is not a point of discussion at all. We agree on that. Only these other three I mentioned are the ones we kind of don't agree. And because these three have to do with oil and surface and how they interact, it is important to not be any confusion about this subject. Now keep in mind that even if you scan a ball twice without even touching the ball, the scanner could give slightly different numbers. I've learned this from experience from scanning many times and many balls twice or 3 times or 4 times. And this is one of the reasons that I scan each ball twice and make the average. After all, don't forget that each one scan with the desktop scanner is around 40,000 values that are averaged themselves. Now, I didn't have time to do all the tests I needed, so these are preliminary tests. There are actually 2 tests that will cover 2 specific conditions and situations, but I will do more tests for the rest of the conditions that we all encounter. So the first test is on my, and maybe that was a mistake, but it's still interesting. I used my Columbia Messenger TI, and I say mistake because this ball actually needed 1 full hour to absorb all the oil that got on it. It still hooks fine though, but I don't know, it's the cover, it's that it's old. I had it de-oiled at some point not too long ago, but there wasn't much oil that came out, so I don't know what the reason is, but that's the data. It needed 1 hour to absorb all the oil from just one shot. So let's see the numbers before using it and after to get an idea. So basically this is for old pearl balls. So I scanned it 1 time perpendicularly to the track flares and 2 times focusing on the track area of the flares of the ball. So I will put the numbers here on the screen. The first number is the average grit of the ball, then you see the RA and the RS. And below I'm going to place the same numbers, the same scans, which were on the same areas, of course, after 60 minutes, when the oil completely dried. Now, if we compare the numbers, the surface grit, the RA and the RS of the ball barely changed. In fact, some of the numbers even show the ball being less shiny. But again, if the variance is small, there is no point considering it. The only significant difference was on the second scan of the track, which was a different slice. That scan showed a 700 grit difference with a bit of an RA difference, but no RS difference. So this is why I make a lot of scans, because if I had just made that one, we would have come to the wrong conclusion. But okay, this was an old pearl cover stock that was left alone to absorb all of the oil. Use it as a reference for similar balls if you like. So if you have an old pearl ball, like when I say old, like 10 years old or more, you can probably be sure that even if you let it absorb all the oil, it does nothing to the surface of the ball and to the reaction of the ball for your next shot. It will, of course, if you keep letting the oil soak in, need de-oiling sooner and more frequently. Next, on the second test, I tried a more modern ball, which has a strong hybrid cover stroke that has only 5 games on it. On this one, I wiped the oil as soon as the ball came back. This one, I scanned it twice on 2 different areas and then two more times on the track. I'll put the numbers on the screen so you can see. The numbers are before throwing it and then after one shot and wiping the oil. Now I didn't have pads with me, so I tested this at a pretty high grit already, which as you can see the ball was around 4400, 4400 average. So I didn't expect to see too much difference, to be honest. This just shows you that small variation in the numbers can occur even if we don't expect them, and they are not very significant at this shiny state. So at least we got 2 conditions in 2 situations out of the way. Strong ball which is already shiny, and all pearl ball that was around 3500. Stay tuned for tests on dull, strong reactive bowling balls that will show us what is going on in the majority of situations that we use these kinds of balls. Don't miss the next test, and the best way to do that is to subscribe and hit the bell. If you don't do it, you will never get 300 game again. Do it. Bye guys, see you on the next one.